It's recorded to the cloud. Okay, so hello everyone. We're back with On the Right Track. Glad you could join us on this evening. We actually have only 2 sessions left. So today and actually Thursday, and we will be finished with On the Right Track. So congratulations to all those that were able to get through this process. And glad you could join us with this as we've gone through a lot of information. So hopefully it will be beneficial to you. I'm sure it will. We just got to apply it. That's all. So not much as far as housekeeping, pretty much just, pushing you guys to put some information in your business plan, on live plan, or either updating the information. You may have had some stuff in there and maybe some additional things need to be updated. So make sure that you're doing that so we can review that and get comments back to you. And also today and Thursday, if you like to pitch your business, we share with you, I think on the portal, is a growth wheel pitch sheet that you can use as a practice, or you can do it yourself. And so we're going to do some pitches today and tomorrow, and today and Thursday, if you like. We're going to offer that at the latter part of our session today as well as Thursday. So outside of that, I got the responses back from the service scholarships. One change that did happen that we talked to consulting about. So anybody that's interested in the social media manager kind of service, what they're going to do is we'll go ahead and do 3 months of social media management for you. And then the person that's actually doing it, it's going to give you a quick training on how to maintain your social media. So they added that just in case you did not want to keep them as the consultant long term. So just to let you know, if you selected the social media management one, they're going to do 3 months of social media management. And then after the 3 months, they're going to do a training with you, a one-on-one on how you can manage your social media. So just to let you know. So thank you all for those that turn in your service scholarship forms. Right after we finish this, for those that have actually put information, a draft of your business plan and have been working on your lab plan, we will send you a certificate of completion. And also we're going to send you some business books that will be coming out. So just wanted to let you guys know that. Keep pushing, keep moving. And now I'm going to turn it over to Rhea Steele.
Good evening.
Hello,
everybody.
Hello.
Happy Tuesday. I had to remember what day it was. Everybody good?
Yes.
Very good. So we're going to get started. We have a few more things we're going to talk about on marketing. And tonight, I actually have some goodies that I'm going to upload for you onto the Trusted Peer site. It talks about some samples of how you can create a client profile. And that's a teaser because that's what we're going to talk about tonight. Before we move into that, does anybody have any questions regarding information that we talked about before? I know everybody's just rushing to speak. I feel it in your bones. One. Where's my staple? Babette, where are you? How are you, dear? How's everybody tonight?
I love you. I love everybody. I'll be here.
No worries, no worries. So we'll get started then, but I just wanted to check and see if you had any questions about anything we went over. I also want to reiterate that even though the class is coming to an end, as Tamora says, we will be here. So feel free to reach out. I know a couple of us have to reschedule some more one-on-one sessions. but just feel free to reach out and continue to work with us. We love working with you, and it's such a joy to see you move forward and be successful. So,
I want to. This is Rodney. I want to say. So guys that had the 7 Ps.
yes.
I worked through that. The part 1 and part 2. I can dig down a little deeper. That was very helpful in me thinking about my products and service. I still need to drill down, but I got that complete. I did the ideal customer profile. I used part of that in the business plan, so, we still got a lot of work to do, but I was grinding all day long.
Oh, thank you so much.
Very helpful.
Okay.
Great.
So was it helpful for you?
Extremely, because you're not just thinking, if somebody says, what's your product or service? But when you have those 7 Ps, the way you had it laid out, you've got to think about how do each one of those things apply to your product, and what will you do? So I thought about mine. I'm using print, I'm using traditional, I'm using integrated marketing, I'm using different ways to represent my product, retail, different ways. So it made me think of how those things affect, how to price and how to position myself.
Right, right.
Yeah.
And pricing is, next time I'll look for some information on pricing, because pricing is a tricky little character as to how to price your product or service. So
Yes.
thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
I just want to, before I start, I just want to comment on, and I say I'm going to say we, because we all have a tendency to do this. So don't try to bite the whole elephant at once. Just take a little piece and drill down to that. Just one of the things that we all need to do is just take a look at the big picture, prioritize what's important. And when you prioritize, remember that you're prioritizing what's important at the moment, because things always shift, they always change. So at the moment, take what's most important. Easy way to look at that when we talked about our clients and services is what's causing you the most pain. What's causing you to stay up at night. So if you can't figure out how to prioritize it, that's an easy way to do it. If something's keeping you up at night, that's the most important. If it's causing you pain, that's the most important. Whether it fits on the chart at all, but it's important because it's causing you to be distracted from the other things that you need to get done.
So I'm going to jump in real quick. So I have my own product, but I have a collaborative jazz fusion band, and the bass player is the most, I can do my own charts, but he's just, says, you know what, I could do this by myself, but it's going to be like a dud. Let me hire these guys and pay them my stuff. So it was exactly like that. I said, this is painful. I could do all this, play these instruments by myself, but it's not going to sound good. So that was, okay, so I saw my own, yep, that's what I did. What was causing me pain? All right.
Yeah, and when you look at that, you just, you want to make sure is, like just to piggyback off what you said, is you can do it, but where does the focus on in time and what, what's it costing you? Because people often look at the price of something versus the time it's costing them to do that. You have to look at the whole picture. Is what is the total cost to you? Is it taking time away from something else you could be doing? Don't just look at the dollars associated with it, because that is not the whole picture. So thank you for sharing. Okay, I am going to say, yes, ma'am.
I was going to say, I finally just tried to at least our business plan narrow down to dealing with consulting, contracting, and products for people, solving problems for people with disabilities. I have had at least 7 calls from people asking me, am I getting back into the business again? They got some projects for me. I said, I'm not in business yet. I'm still working on it. They said, well, just let us know. We got some projects. You just tell us what you need, what kind of money it's going to take us. Now, I can tell you, when I was in business doing elevators, I would have loved to hear stuff like that. Now that I'm not in it enough, people are talking about it. So that's really good. And I'm not even talking about doing elevators right now. I'm talking about smaller things, ramps, you know what I'm saying? And things going to the sidewalks, lifts, menus and stuff like that. I'm not the big right now.
So that's fantastic, Babette. If I may share just a brief response to that. So you are in business. So let me just adjust your answer just a little bit.
Oh,
Tony,
yes, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
yes, you are in business. Thank you for calling. Let me get all of your
Yes.
contact information. And what we're doing now is we're doing some restructuring of the company, but tell me a little bit more about what it is that you're looking for me to do, because you'll reach out to your associates to see if that's something that you can put on your plate right now.
I hope you
we're
can
your
put that in
associate.
the email for me so I can remember,
I will
or
do that.
voicemail.
I will do both.
Wonderful. Yeah, never turn down any money. So everybody on here, if somebody is willing to pay you,
Yes.
you take the call, and then you call us and whoever else you know and say, hey, I
All
need
right.
to build a team to get this job
Okay.
done. Can you help
Okay.
me? And
Okay.
then don't turn down the money now.
Thank you.
No problem. All right, let's
Love
get
y'all.
started. Let me share my screen. Okay. Did I do that? Okay, let me start the slideshow. Can everybody see that?
Yes.
Okay, marketing websites and social media part 3. Here we go. So we're going to focus on one thing and one thing only tonight is what is a client profile and how to create a client profile. And we're going to leave some time at the end, like Tamara said, for anyone who wants to do a pitch or talk about what would be in that pitch if you want to do it next week. So first thing we want to talk about is what is a client profile? It's really, customer profile. I'm taking this definition right from the web, is the detailed description of your target audience. And remember when we talked about target audience, we're going to look at it 2 ways. We're going to look at because you are in business, what is your existing client profile? And then what do you want your future client profile to look like? And it doesn't mean that you just have to have one, because depending on your products or services, you may have a variety of clients, but we're going to look at what the current profile looks like and what I want my future clients' profiles to look like. And it talks about that it's similar to a buyer persona. And I always like to look at things, within and then go out. How do I like to purchase? It's always good to start asking yourself these questions so that you'll know what questions to ask when you're developing your client profile. What does your buying persona look like? And then as you start to do the demographics and the research, is to figure out what your customer's buying persona is. And this is going to be all factual information. We're going to look at the demographics, their buying behavior, how they feel about customer service, interactions, everything that you need to know to put them in a group and to capture them in one description. And the reason we're looking to group and capture them in one description, because once we get that client profile set up, it's captured, it's understood, then we're going to duplicate it. That's who we're looking for. We're looking for the person who meets that profile. We're looking for the person, as we create different profiles, who meets that profile. And remember, we talked about a little bit with social media. One of the things that Facebook does really well is it allows you to create some really strong demographics when you actually are going in to buy some ads. So we can look at our client demographic and our client profile, and we can start to do outreach through social media tools to touch that client that we might not be in close proximity to, we might not know at all that client, and that's the point of it. But we can do some outreach through Facebook and through some of the other social media tools to reach that ideal client. Okay, how do we create a client profile? We want to focus on the problem that your business is trying to solve. So what you want to understand is, again, understand your business. What is it that you are bringing to the market? What problem is it that you're trying to solve? And to take it from a positive standpoint, it doesn't necessarily have to be a problem, but what's that gap you're trying to fill, or what is that niche you're trying to serve? So you want to understand really what product or service I'm going after, and then figure out, if it's a new business, focus on the problems you're trying to solve and identify the type of people who may face that challenge. If you have an existing customer base, it's key to take a look at your current users and their behavior. So again, we're going to restate that. If I'm doing a new business or starting a new business, what niche do I want to go after? What segment of the market do I want to go after? Where do I want to fit my product or services, or where do I fit? If I have an established company, then take a look at what my clients are doing and how their behavior is related to my client, my product or service. And then I want to replicate that or duplicate that. I'm also going to put some information on the Trusted Peer portal, but this talks about review your customer journey map. And this is something that I was researching and I thought was quite interesting, but it's really allowing you some templates that are out there and some questions that you can ask your clients as to their journey and their buying behavior, to complete your journey map. Think about how it will help you understand and reach those clients, how to understand their needs, their challenges, and their goals, how they interact with you from start to finish. So what's the process by which they take a journey to find you, by which they take a journey to develop, to use your product and service? And again, we talked about last class that these are all things that you can ask your clients. Don't ever be afraid to ask them, because if they are already purchasing your service, they're friendly. You probably don't have any adversarial relationships, I hope, with any of your clients. If you do, we can talk about that on another section as to how to move them on or encourage them to be a positive client. But you can ask your client, think of them, we're developing relationships. We don't want it to be transactional. We want it to be a relationship. You want to be their trusted advisor. So remember to ask the questions. But this is really, and I thought the maps were interesting. And you can there are about 4 or 5 maps that you can pick and choose to develop from the questions that are out there and develop a roadmap. But you're really developing, think of it as a roadmap or a tour from, I woke up this morning and I decided to buy this product or service, and it's your service. And what does it take to get that client to the end point, which is to purchase your service, and then to come back again. So look at it as full circle. We want to dig into the demographics when we're creating a client profile. Again, we want to know as much about our client as we possibly can. We want to know, because we want to know how to best serve them. We want to know where they're coming from. What market does your product best serve? We also are talking about what vertical. So we're doing 2 things that we're looking about the demographics. We're understanding our product and our brand, and we're also looking at where we're going to find our clients. So we've got several different types of businesses that are working with us. We've got someone in the food industry. We got someone in the hospitality and lodging industry. We've got the entertainment production. So that's what we talk about if that's your specific vertical. If that's your market, that's your vertical. So what vertical are you in? Then when you're looking at that from a client profile standpoint, where would you attract people to that vertical? Where do those people hang out, so to speak? Where do I find people who are foodies? Where do I find people who are interested in the lodging business or they travel? Just where the demographics, how do I locate them? This particular example talks about business to business, B2B. So you see it says how many employees they have. So remember, depending on what your product or service are, you are either dealing with an individual or you're dealing with a company. If you're doing food, you're either dealing with the individual, or you might be catering to an organization. We had one of the restaurants that we were working with, and their model is that they sell to businesses. I mean, not to businesses, I'm sorry, sell to individuals, but they had an opportunity to do a catering project for a corporation, which created a different model that I don't think they had thought about at the time, but it created a different revenue stream for them. So I think when you dig into the demographics of where you fit and where your clients fit, that'll also help you to hone in on your current client base, your current client profile, and again, what your future client profile can be. Any questions? Okay. This is key. Collect customer feedback. Who does surveys for their clients? Who gives their client a survey every time they purchase from you or they use your survey? Anybody? I feel like Ferris Bueller. Anybody? Does anybody give their client a survey? That's a no? Yes? Wave hands. Do you ask your client what they thought about your service? If you don't give them a paper survey, do you ask them how you did?
Yes, actually, yes. Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So that's a survey, but you're actually asking them, you're not giving them a piece of paper. You're saying, well, how did we do? Right?
Correct.
Yes.
That's correct.
What's the response? Was that a tough response? Did you feel like it was a comfortable response? How did they respond?
Well, I got various responses. You know.
And is this
Maria,
Maria?
good. Were they
Okay.
good, bad, in between?
No, I have to say 98% of them were good. I only got 2. Well, they said I gave them the wrong address, but that was impossible because it's on the website. You know what I'm saying? You know, so this maybe they picked it wrong. And the other one was they couldn't find the amenities, but they never looked in the bathroom because I did meet them there. These particular guests. The amenities were in the bathroom, in the medicine cabinet, you know, the additional soap, toothpaste, and stuff like that. So, you know, it wasn't that it wasn't there. They just really didn't read the instructions or the house rules, shall I say, on where things were.
So interesting. So what was your response to that? And I'm going to take this to one place in a second. Did you respond or did you just receive the information and thank them for sharing?
No, I thanked them, but I sent them an email back because, you know, they were emailing me when they got there, you know, about certain things, you know what I'm saying? Well, it was like after they gave me their rating, you know what I'm saying? They still gave me a good rating, but, you know, they said that they were, you know, they couldn't find certain things and certain things weren't there, you know, that I had listed that would be there. You know, and I asked him, did they go into the bathroom and open the medicine cabinet? And he said no, you know, so, you know, all the things were there, you know.
Go ahead.
No, I said, I always provide over and above, you know,
So question for you, what, if any, adjustment did you make after that response or after the feedback?
After the feedback, I always included that extra amenities, toothbrush, you know, toothpaste, additional soap, shower caps were in the medicine cabinet behind the mirror. Because if you push the mirror, it would have opened and they would have saw all of those things. And then I also additionally put a little caddy on the back of the toilet, seat. So when they walk in, they saw some things which would give you, I guess, the interest into opening other doors to look, you know, because some people don't want you to meet them there and exchange the keys. They want to actually key in the code and access the keys themselves. So,
okay, so thank you. So I was getting to, so you made adjustments for, so that people would know, or you provided them some information so that they would know to look in the cabinet, or they would know to, you know, you gave them some type of visual to let them know that the information was there?
Yes. Well, they have the visual. The visual is actually on the website, all of the amenities. When they book, they're able to see all the amenities that I have. So even in the pictures on the website, it shows you kind of where everything is, when you take pictures of things and post them there, so, I had about 22 pictures. So, if you went into the bathroom, you would see that the medicine cabinet was open and all the things were there, on the website. And I replenish them every time, someone leaves and checks out, So I just included that in the messaging when I told them, arrival time was this time. And I reiterated that the keypad was on the front porch,
So what did that, and I'm just going to go through this exercise because I wanted to share. So what did that tell you about that client profile, that particular profile? Because you had it on the website, you had tons of pictures on the website. Did that bring to mind anything about that particular type of client or that client?
Well, just that some clients, some clients don't necessarily read, thoroughly through things. So you kind of have to, give them a little nudge and overemphasize the things that are available. How could I say it? Some clients need a little massaging.
So that was great. That's exactly where I was trying to get you. So you noticed a couple things. You said a couple things about this client is they didn't have the correct address. I'm assuming it's the same client, right?
Yes.
And so the address is on the website. So which means they went through quickly and saw the pictures but didn't connect to the photos. They saw something very quickly, high level, that said, okay, this looks good. I'm done. I'm going to make my reservation. So they didn't peruse, they didn't go back through for any reason. So just a nice thing is to how you made the adjustment is if you're able to text them to say, great, glad you made it in safely. Oh, by the way, just want to remind you, if we have these amenities here, we have this here, or just a little card when they walk in the door, or something that they know to say, look here, or read me first. Because that's again knowing some people are visual, some people like to see the information, some people like to hear the information. So it just tells you a little bit about that client. They for whatever reason were in a hurry, didn't read thoroughly, and here's another way to reach them and to follow up.
Right, yeah,
that's good.
And that's another good idea you just said. Put one of those cards, in places, when they're walking in, they say, amenities here and stuff like that. Yeah, that's a good idea too.
And even for just a sample, an example of that, amenities may be too much for them. Just something you may want to look at. Read me first. Read me first. Stop here first. Don't, just make it real simple, because that's going to catch your eye. That's a catchy thing. It says, read me first. I'm like, okay, what do I need to know? Right. Because when you look at and say people, amenities are here, they're like, oh, okay, I'll look at that later. But if you say, read me first, there's something I need to know.
You're right, exactly, because I've had people, to call me, oh, I can't find the light switch, what I mean, and stuff like that. So, yeah.
So that's excellent. Thank you for your feedback. So anyone else, do you talk to your clients? And you don't have to get in the habit. It's not an easy task. I don't want you to think that you're not doing something correct. And Tamora and Ray and I can attest to this. It's not an easy task getting somebody to fill out a survey. Sometimes you almost have to say, I'll give you $25 if you fill out the survey after the stay or something. But a good thing is just ask the questions. Don't be afraid of the answers. Again, we're building relationships here. We don't necessarily want to have transactional, but we know you want to build on continuing clients. So just ask them and get some feedback and to build that profile. You could have another client that's the same way. You got everything on the website and they saw enough to know that they wanted to book, and after that they were done with the website.
Yeah. So Maria, I was listening to your conversation with Maria, and it just seemed to me that having like maybe doing a video for your guests who are going, when they arrive, to look at this video, and you can in essence give them the facts and the content of things that you wanted to articulate to them if you were there in person. And that way, you can avoid having these little things that could fall through the cracks to be overcome. one of the things that I learned yesterday and listening to the Microsoft 365 discussion was that, there's a lot of pre-formatted forms and things that are in 365, Microsoft 365. And they have pre-formatted surveys that you can adopt to what you need, what you want to do. And what I've found through the School of Hard Knocks is that I can pretty much develop things pretty quickly in terms of new ideas, but formatting those new ideas takes me a lot longer than it does to develop them. And so it's just, it's just a lesson to try to think about, I always say this trite thing, and it's God created Google for a reason. And when you're thinking about how to format something, go to Google and see if there's something out there already. You don't need to reinvent the wheel. Just see if there's a pre-formatted form or something you can adopt and use for your own purposes, like surveys or things of that nature, because it can make a big difference and it can save you a lot of time.
Yep.
Yes.
Thanks, Ray. Thank you.
Maria, did you have something else?
No,
Okay.
He's right, because I've been in 365 and I'm literally preparing a video to attach to my website for some of these things as well. Since everything is going virtual, I'm trying to, modify, the connections.
Mm-hmm. Great.
And actually,
Yeah, videos are always great for that particular customer. Just keep in mind, if they didn't look at the website, they might not look at the video. So you actually want to put something in their face and say, look at me. So you've got all different kinds of clients. So the videos are always good, and it'll keep them from having to look for the information because you're sharing it right there for them. The next thing we're going to jump through is go to how to create a client, how to create a client profile, but we want to examine contextual details. This reference here talks about creating a software company, but you can do it for anything. So it's really taking a look at your customer, whether it's another company or whether it is individual. If this one talks about they're creating a software for a service company and they want to know how big their team is. So you're really just trying to find out information about that client. For example, if we look at our music production teams that we have, our companies that we have, is my client is what are their gaps? If I'm doing production for them, am I doing a complete package? Am I doing some subset of that? How long have they been in the business, which is letting me know at what level do I need to engage with them. You don't want to be overbearing if they are professionals and have been in the business a while, but it's nice to, when you go through that, have a checklist. And then if the client is experienced, they can, you can quickly go through what they need and what they don't need. If they don't know the information and they're new, then it provides a template for them. So we're really trying to get, when they say contextual, we're trying to get detailed text information, something tangible that I can find out about my client, whether their buying habits, what do they want to do in the next 3 months? If they bought this from me today, is this something, do they purchase once a month? Do they purchase every 3 months? Do they purchase once a year? I'm trying to get tangible information to build that client profile. Again, we talked about this before, and this goes along with the contextual information. One of the things that you really want to make sure that you understand is understand your industry. Understand where your brand falls in the industry and how it compares to others in the industry. And that's really going to help you solidify your products and services. And also, while you are identifying your client profile, it's really going to help you hone in on your pitch or your outreach or your brand information that's going to attract that client and that customer, and to retain them and to make sure that you're providing the service that they want. And last week we talked about making sure that you don't necessarily do what you think is like for like, but to look in unusual places for where your product and service may be offered. It may be bundled in beneath some other umbrella industry, and to find out, again, from a competition standpoint, how they're introducing themselves to the market, and you can see how you can compare. And also to take a look at those websites, take a look at that marketing of the other companies and see how they're doing outreach to their client. Is that something that you want to emulate, or do you see gaps there? Is there something that you want to fill a niche that you see is not available in the marketplace? And that's really something. If you could find that niche, particularly in this day and age, then that's going to create, at least for a window of time, and it might go as long as you can make it as long as you possibly can, but a window of time for you to really not have a lot of competition in that area, if you can find a gap that's not being offered. And in many cases, if you're a smaller firm, you can bring products and services to the market faster and cheaper than a larger firm, and that might be your niche. So let's just look at it a product idea. It might be your time to market, your turnaround time. It doesn't have to be the product. It could be the delivery of the product. We're going to look at building personas. Again, this is how I create my client profile. Remember that you're marketing to people and actual personalities, their feelings and your needs. So here are some key things to uncover about the people in your customer profile. Again, what are the titles? What's the age range, the education level, the income level, how will they use your product or service, what market channel can they reach you? If it's social media, did they find you via Instagram? Did they find you via Facebook? Was it a LinkedIn connection? Just where do they find you? You want to build that persona of where that person is looking to buy your product or service. And then we want to analyze, to iterate the customer persona. It says the customer, I'm reading here, customer profile is a key lever for growing your business. This definition will act to guide you in informing your product and service, to build the channel to use in your marketing campaign, and much more. So really what that's saying is, I want to really understand my client. I want to make sure that my product or service resonates with a person. At the end of the day, we talked about just before, is that it's emotional. I'm selling to a person. I'm not selling to a bot or a widget. So I want to touch some emotion, feel some gap, fill a void that may not be there. Rodney, we talked about, you want to make sure that your product or service is, if someone has pain, maybe you're alleviating the pain. Yes. They need to get something done right away. Same thing that you did in reaching out. You're saying, I could do this myself, but I can also go to Rodney, or I can go to Wesley and say, I know you guys do this. I need you to get this done. So you just really, want to fill out where that gap is and resolve that gap. Mm-hmm. Okay, are there any questions? So there are going to be two pieces of information that I'm going to upload for you. One is I want you to take a look at it. I thought it was very interesting. One is really putting together that map. We talked about that journey map, and that's created a map as to how your product how your client interacts with you and your product and your service from beginning to the end of the purchase. And the second one is how to create the client profile, and it gives you a list of just different questions if you want to create a survey for your client. And one of the things I want you to think about, maybe you don't want to overburden your client with a survey. Maybe you want to just different times, maybe you just want to ask them one question. Maybe you just want to focus on one thing and just give them a survey with one question, and then give them blank space and just say add more. But here's the question you want, ask. Be as specific as you can, and then leave them an open-ended section so they can feel free to add more, as opposed to giving somebody 10 questions to answer. Give them one or two. Mm-hmm. All right.
Okay.
All right, Tamora.
I just pretty much this
There.
is key and essential. That client profile is really going to help pivot your business. You need to know where they are, and so just taking the time. Hopefully, you looked at maybe some of those Google videos of some businesses, like the young lady that she basically had the warehouse and she wasn't using it for what she normally do, but she pivoted that business and started making other stuff because she had the warehouse. So I think it's important that you make sure that you take the time and figure out where your clients are, and they might not be obvious. So your clients may be in other places and other locations, and you're not even aware of the client. And so that's why you need to utilize the tools. As Ray said, use Google. I know that Facebook as well has those capabilities of helping you to drill down and figure out, based upon some, key codes, to figure out who's been searching for this, who's been looking for this. And that might be where your client is, because people are online searching. I know for, Amazon has it down pat. If I go and search for something, next thing I know, even if I don't buy it, now I'm getting advertisement of another product. And that kind of thing, because they are using that system. Because I I just searched something, and now all of a sudden I get different stuff, or either they'll say, hey, this is on sale, you looked at it 2 months ago. So they have those system set up. But you don't have to be in it as advanced. You could set up something as well, especially when people inquire. That's why it's important to have those forms or the surveys, so that even if you don't do anything right now, you at least have their information to reference back to them at a later date, just to remind them that you're there and that maybe you got a special or something like that. So it's important that you do this. This is how a lot of businesses grow, because they know who their client is. So it's not that you're just dependent on the usual people. You're looking for everybody. And as Rhea said, you're bridging the gap. So you're looking for, I know, for example, when I was getting medical services and going to Cook County Hospital, that for years they had it where you go and get your prescription, but it was like you had to stand it. You get you put the order in, and then you have to wait 5 hours
Oh my God.
to get the prescription. It was like, you know what, drop the order off, come back the next day. It was horrible. And there was nothing really letting me know where I was in line and everything. And then years later, and probably in the last couple of years, they actually put a board up on the wall. So when I put the prescription in, I can actually see, based upon the number, where I'm at. So I can see if I'm 50, 500 numbers away, or if I'm 2, and that was just something. It just made me more happier to be willing to maybe sit and wait for it, compared to not knowing it. But it was like, it was a complaint. The gap needed to be bridged between me as a client and them as the pharmacy, to communicate with me better, so I didn't have to wait 5 hours for a prescription. So that's where you start looking at what you offer, services you offer, and where is the gap? What's the problem? Or what is the issue that customers are looking for that nobody else is offering? Because if you can actually get a niche and offer something that nobody else is really doing, that's might be where your money is. So I just wanted to share that for any of you. I did want to, before, does anybody doing a pitch tonight? No? Chef, I liked your jacket. It's pretty. I saw you earlier.
Thank you. I was actually thinking about doing mine today.
Okay, well, we're ready.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Good evening.
Hi.
My name is Chanel Dunlap, but I'm also going by Chef Nellie D. I am the owner of Made with Love Food for the Heart and Soul, or Made with Love FH&S LLC. I started my business because I've noticed that I live in Chicago. I live on the South Side, and in the areas that I live in, it lacks a lot of healthy food choices. So me being in the culinary industry, having 5 years of experience in having a love for food, I was like, this is what I need to do. Not only to give back to my fellow Chicagoans, but also to deliver to an area that needs quality food. My business is a food delivery and small private catering. So when I say my food delivery service will have 2 menu options. So you can have lunch, which for lunch you can have a choice of subs, soups, salads, and I'm also making homemade sides. Majority of my food that I'm creating will be homemade or handmade. And then for dinner, it will be a plated dinner in a to-go container. Currently, right now, I have about 2 clients. They are close to me, but they're very truthful and they love what I do. My business, I strive to give you great service, not only great tasting food, but also the packaging. Once you get your food delivered to you, you get a smile on your face, a smile from the delivery or myself, because I am the sole member currently. But I have a lot of strive to give great service. So when you order your food from me, you will be in contact with me or my team. When you get your food from delivery, it's like the greatest experience you'll get. You know, a smile on the face, a thank you card attached to the bag, my business card also within the bag. I label all of my containers so you'll know what you're getting. And also I am catering to our healthy alternatives or people that have allergens or dietary needs. Also, I'm hand rolling my utensils. So I feel like that was really setting me apart because I'm putting a lot of effort, a lot of love into what I'm creating for my clients, for my customers, for my guests. When you order from Made with Love, you will experience and know that what you're getting is made with love.
Awesome.
All right,
Wonderful.
that was great.
I'm ready. I've been saying we need to do that taste test situation because I'm ready. That was great. Just the information that you shared, and that's a wonderful pitch for somebody that needs to know who you are and what you do and the services that you provide. So I think that was great. Ray, did you have any comment?
I think that you've got something there that can make a difference, and that's real, that's tangible, and the thing that you need to focus on, I think, is to make it tangible for others.
Right.
And there's some steps you can take to do that. I was thinking about, if you can get some of your friends and some of the people who have sampled your food to provide you with some testimonials that you could use to, as kind of a marketing, if you will, segue into getting some momentum going to have people give you have people give a try to your service. And maybe you want to think about maybe some discount, as a drawing factor as well. But you got the benefit of getting some help in terms of maybe getting a landing page linked to social media that could be done. And I think tomorrow you have someone that can provide that service.
Yeah.
And the other thing that I was wondering about was, some of the details. Okay, there's always devil in the details.
Right.
But I was wondering, are you going to use a delivery service? Or, I mean, right now it looks like it's just you, and that's okay. But I mean, beyond that, because I think what you want to get keyed up for is, one is the here and now. The here and now is you. That's cool. But beyond the here and now, you want to be ready for the next step as well. So you might probably want to think about how you can bridge from where you're at now to the next step, and maybe a delivery service of some kind. The other thing is that you got to get yourself a link to be able to cook at a commercial kitchen or a shared kitchen.
Right.
Because in essence, you're not going to get into a lot of trouble from doing what you're doing. Okay. But if you start growing, you're going to need access to do it, with the protocols that have to be done. Okay. The rules are the rules. And as much as we like to think that, there's some side steps you can take, at the end of the day, you gotta get those links settled upon and find some avenues to help you. You've got 2 contacts I know with Chef Fury and Chef Derek.
Yeah.
Maybe there's an opportunity for you to use their facilities, and try to think of some links that you can exercise, because in essence, you don't want to be scrambling around to do this when you suddenly got a bunch of orders in front of you, and because if you have to do something on a scrambling basis to get a shared kitchen or a commercial kitchen, what that means to me is it's going to cost you a lot of money, because in essence, if you don't have the alternatives laid out in terms of what makes sense in terms of your price points and everything else, if you're forced to pay, $25 an hour or $125 a day or something like that, that's not going to enable you to be competitive. If you get forced into that corner, you don't want to get into that corner. You want to stay away from that corner.
Yeah.
But I really liked everything you had to say.
Yeah,
Okay.
everything sounds great. I actually, before, I wanted to share, I don't know if you've ever heard of Me's Mills. And I can send you the information so you can look them up. You've heard of them?
Yes.
And so what I thought was cool, which I'm not a chef, so that's the reason why I didn't stay in the program, but they used to, and I don't know if you can see it, but they sent this like big statue. It's like a cube box, and you can't see it on there, but they deliver my meals with this box. And it had the ice pack in it, reusable cooler bag, ice, and all of that, because the meal wasn't cooked. It was basically I had to cook it myself. So that was the reason why that was a problem.
Okay.
I had to cook it. But the idea that they actually provided this box, it's a cooler bag. And so every time I ordered, I would get all my stuff in there. It gave me the recipe on how to cook it, cook my meal. And then they asked that if I take a picture of it. And then if I ordered again, I would leave this on the porch and they give me another bag. Well, of course, I got 2 of these because I never did. I never did do it, but it was supposed to be healthy meals.
Okay.
So, you know, it's just a thought. It's another thought of, you know, they delivered the box, but I cooked it at home. So they weren't cooking it. They were giving me the products and they gave me the recipe and then I cooked the recipe at home. So just a thought.
Okay, I just wanted to add a couple things. So Chef Nelly, that was awesome. That was a great presentation. Bright colors. You talked about cooking food with love, so that pink color of love, so that matched great. You had a smile on your face all the time. I, for one, am really pleased when people around my food are happy. So that makes me feel better. So I want to add one thing from a sales and marketing standpoint. You didn't close the deal. So I'm ready to order. So at the end of your presentation, I want you to say, order here, call this number, send this email. So we can ready to go. And it was great, just great presentation, but just give them that piece so that they don't have to figure out how to get to you. And if you're not ready yet, that's fine. But the purposes of the sales and marketing is, I, for one, am learning the joy of cooking. I don't know that I'll ever get there, but whenever you're ready, just send me an email so I can order Thanksgiving dinner right now would be helpful. Okay. But it was a great presentation, so thank you.
Yeah, I thought it was a great presentation too. I want to know what's in your plate meal. What do you like? If I would say, bring me something on Friday, what would I get in my plate? You know.
So for the dinner, it was up to
dinner.
For dinner, I'm going to have 4 different meal options. So the 4 different meal options that you get to choose from is either between chicken and turkey, a pork or a beef meal, a seafood meal, which either will be like some type of fish or shrimp, and then a veggie meal, because I'm definitely trying to make sure I hit for my vegetarians or vegans. So right now, I'm definitely in those stages of doing my dinner menu. But for an example, you could get a maple glazed salmon with braised greens, turnip puree, and roasted carrots. Or you could get a spicy barbecue pork loin with herb roasted potatoes and sauteed broccoli. Or you could get a bourbon mushroom chicken with grilled broccolini and sauteed carrots, or it's a different variety. So how I have it set up for my business is that it will be a rotation. Starting off for dinner, it will be my choice of what, like, you're getting the Chef Nelly D's favorite meals that I love to cook. Then bi-monthly or monthly, I will rotate it. I have done surveys, and I had 79 participants. And so I went in and looked at the different types of food that they like. So based on that, I'm going to do specials where, give an example, majority of my clients, they liked, or majority of the participants that took the survey, they said they like Asian cuisine. So for the bi-monthly rotation of meals, I could have Korean bulgogi, or you can have lo mein. It will have different, trying to really appease my customers, but then also to, you know, giving that rotation so it's not the same thing. Because, you know, sometimes you eat the same thing, you get bored of it, but that excitement of something new coming in that you can try is not just the same old, same old.
Okay, are you currently delivering meals?
Right now I will be taking orders soon.
Okay.
I'm still
That's
in
all
the
right. That's all right. That's
process.
all right. And what would
I'm
be
gonna
the
jump in.
range of
So what would a dinner for? I want to. So what would a dinner for three be like with the salmon and the? What would be like for dinner for three? What would that be like? What
would go
price?
my catering.
Yeah, so Chef Nelly, before you order, I want to interrupt because I want to circle you back to what we shared with Babette.
Mhm.
So you will take their information now,
Yes.
Okay.
and then you will reach out to us when you're ordering.
Yes.
I'm first, Rodney, though.
I'm second.
If
Yeah, you
you can
said
contact
some,
me through my email or my phone number.
And that would be, we have it though. Yes, for an email.
Email is chefnellyd.mwl@gmail.com.
Everybody get that?
Yeah. And
Yep.
Maria also put in the chat she'd
you
like
can send it
Chef
out.
for you to send a menu to her.
Okay.
yeah, Chef Nelly, you just set some salmon aside for me, and I'll be
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely. I actually wanted to make a point when we were talking about our clients and customers. I recently reached out directly to my customer. So after I gave her meals, I kind of waited a couple of days, so because she travels a lot. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna let you taste it, let you eat it, and let you kind of simmer on it. And then I reached out to her and I asked her, how did you enjoy the food? Because I would like to know the feedback to but so if I need any improvement or just that feedback so I can get my menu together. So example, she told me she didn't like broccoli. So now she wants me to do Brussels sprouts for her. But everything else, the portions was great. The food tasted great. So that makes me happy. And I know that I am satisfying my customers by my food. So this is what I love to do. And I have passion for it. And I'm here to serve.
Great. So you saw the benefit of actually the survey, because now that client doesn't like the broccoli, she wants the Brussels sprout, which means that on your menu, maybe you have another option, so that then when I pick and I see, oh, I can get broccoli, Brussels sprouts, or string beans, that then I can choose, oh, I want the Brussels sprouts, or I want the string beans because I don't like broccoli.
Right.
So that's how that helps that menu get even better.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
I do have for my I would like to make this point for my lunch menu for the soups and salads. I do have, of course, like what the sub is. For example, the turkey Italian sub, and then at the bottom I have modifiers.
Mm-hmm.
So for dinner, it's not gonna be as huge as lunch, but there will be, because I understand that everyone has their preference. So I will have some modifiers or some, if you can substitute, but it will be limited compared to lunch. And there will only be a certain amount of time you can order. And I'm working on doing my pre-order forms. So with getting my website out, I definitely will include the pre-orders because it allows me to calculate how much food that I need to purchase and making sure that I am having minimum waste. Mm-hmm. Food cost is really important besides the other like financial pieces, but food cost is really something that I'm wanting to focus on, is making sure that I don't spend so much, because you won't really make a profit if my food cost is very high.
Yep. Okay, great. Anybody else? Any other comments? Are we good for tonight?
Yeah.
So hopefully somebody will do another pitch on Thursday. Like to hear from somebody else. That would be nice. I know Wes and Maria have been in our training again, but some of the people on here don't know you. So, you know, Thursday, if you're prepared to do a pitch, then please do.
Is mine? Yeah, I say I go on Thursday.
Okay.
We'll go on Thursday.
I
Yep.
need to hear about
All
your
right, Ronnie.
you too, Nelly D. I heard a lot of vegetables, but I ain't hear like the full vegan menu. I thought about better eggs, but I'll definitely take a menu. And it sounds good though. I'm definitely hungry.
Yeah, I'm actually hungry now, so I gotta go downstairs and fix me something to eat. So, but yeah, so great session on tonight. Thank you guys for joining in, and just, you know, kind of know that Thursday will be our last session. So, but it won't be our last conversation, because we'll still be here if you need help with anything. And have a great evening.
Great.
Love you all.
See ya. Love ya.
Sure.
All right.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Love. Much love.